Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Welcome back once again to the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. Welcome to the show, everybody. If this is your first time listening, my name is Owen, and I am your Shark Break Kid. Along with me tonight is our predictions champion, the King of Bong Style, I should say, and still your predictions champion, the King of Bong Style, Duncan. But also with us as well is, of course, back once again, Matthew, our modern-day Maharaja. How you guys doing tonight?
Man, I am living. That's how Matthew's doing right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Cracking a cold one. It's actually 100 degrees here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's hotter there than it is here.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's fucking hot. So, but cracking one because I'm glad to be back. I missed a week, and I know I had to shit out early, but yeah, glad to be back. Good show last week, good brothers, and I'm sorry I fucking didn't send you my predictions.
Oh, it's okay. Things happen. I understood you were busy. I know you had a last-minute flight you had to catch to get back home, so we totally get it. It was a one-on-one performance against me and Duckett, and
Yep.
And
we haven't gone heads up in a while.
Yeah, we haven't, and I screwed the pooch dramatically once again.
Yep.
So
True story.
Yeah. But we'll get into all the details of that particular show, which I've seen. This one seems to be very divisive. This takeover, a lot of people really disliking a lot that went down on the show. I didn't think it was all that bad. There were a couple of matches in there that I thought maybe went long or just had
Or a
weird,
little clunky.
yeah, weird pacing or clunkiness. But then there was also some stuff on the show that was fantastic. I thought the main event was
Main event was awesome.
great.
Main event was great.
Made Karrion Kross really look like the star that he is being presented as. And I was going to ask straight off the bat, because last we talked, Matthew, you were very low on Karrion Kross.
And then you guys talked about it on the podcast. Not my opinion, but you guys talked about your thoughts on him last week. And
did this match do anything to change that? Because it did me.
It made him more appealing just as a wrestler. I still just don't like. I don't like the character. I don't like the gimmick. Something hasn't clicked with me yet.
That's fair.
But it definitely made him more likable as a fucking wrestler in my mind. I never thought he was a bad, horrible rep, but that match, he definitely kicked it into high gear.
He was able to showcase exactly what he could do, and I think it was good seeing him with a wide variety of people all at once. How he can work with these varying different styles and what have you, and also just to be honest, looked like a beast I love the spot in that match in particular where I forgot who put him into the table, but he didn't go through the announce table. He sort of like draped
he flat
over
back onto it.
like, and it's cool when
yeah.
it's this, because they do overuse the announce table spot, and it's not like the old school tables where they crumple. Like they just sort of, I don't know, the new announce desks or the newer announce desks, they just sort of kind of, I don't know,
They just
like
flip.
yeah, they're a little underwhelming. And this, even though he didn't go through it, to me, I thought it actually looked better. It looked more intense than if he would have gone through it, just having that flat back on the table like that.
I agree. I think that when you have something like that where you're just like, oh, that didn't give the way it was supposed to. I think that makes the spot look a little bit more grand.
He sold it really well too.
Mm-hmm.
When it doesn't like break and have that give either, like I always just get this feeling like in the back part of my ribs, like, and like the air is knocked out of me, and I'm just like, that's like,
I'm just like, am I gonna be pissing blood?
Yeah, it just intensifies that, and that one definitely looked like it hurt.
And it was also a good way to, because that's the trouble with these 5-man or however many multi-man matches that you have going. You have to find ways to keep guys out of the ring and keep them out of the match for certain periods.
Right.
What a perfect way to keep him out of the match for, a few minutes.
Yeah,
absolutely. And a couple times too, like putting him through the door of the set.
Yep.
And then like hitting him on the outside. But then when he came in, he just, like murdered everybody. But he also made everybody else look good at the same time by taking everybody's big moves and, like Pete Dunne countering that submission that he did into the finger spot and all that shit. Like I was really impressed with the main event.
I was too. I'll say overall as a show, I think there was 5 matches, right? It was 5 matches.
5 matches.
Yeah. I'll say that I think 3 of the 5 delivered for me and 2 of them didn't.
I'll agree with that.
And I think the part of the issue with the show as a whole was the crowd. The
crowd was really fucking quiet.
Weird crowd. Like,
but dude, here's what it is. Owen and I have been to that environment before. I've been a couple more times.
But this had way more people in it than
way more people,
we were there.
But it's way more people of the same audience, right? Like that same NXT standard crowd.
The smarky crowd. Let's just call them what they are,
Yeah, exactly. Like the people around ringside are going to be the family of the performers, right? Especially the ones like behind the announcers.
Yeah.
But everybody else, like, they're booing Cross, they're booing MSK, and they're sort of going into business for themselves, right? Like, because they don't like it, and that's fair. You don't have to like who the company wants you to like, but it also throws the matches off.
It did. I was surprised at some of the people, like you just said, those two names with MSK and Karrion Kross. I was surprised that they were so low on them. I'm still confused because with MSK in particular, they just seem like a tailor-made NXT tag team. And I'm just very confused with their work rate, why people don't like them. I haven't gotten that one yet.
I haven't either.
I understand it more with Cross because people like you, Matthew, that maybe haven't connected with the character and that maybe he is kind of more of a stereotypical WWE main roster type of performer. I can get that a little bit more why they wouldn't be behind him. But MSK, it's like that's exactly like the sort of act that most of these smarks love,
Right.
Like, so
I think the reason that they've been so shit on MSK is because of how many times they've beaten the grizzled young veterans, and that crowd
fan
loves
favorites.
GYV.
Yeah, as they should.
And we do too, right? But it's the fact that like they're still, and I love them even though they are heels, but that's they're not losing any sort of credibility in defeat.
I always still think, though, too, when you're at a wrestling show, of course, cheer for your favorites and all that, but the old adage of boo the bad guys and cheer the good guys should still be there to a degree, because
I think so.
It helps the show, even if I'm not like super high on Cross, you know, like now it seems like they're turning him more into a complete heel rather than sort of the tweener that he was being portrayed in the last feud. But and that's only as of like tonight, watching just the beginning of NXT, which we will talk about in just a sec. But yeah, with some of the reactions, I found them really, really bizarre, and I was also surprised the other way around as to like Pete Dunne got an amazing reaction.
Yeah. Like, dude, he's so over.
And I knew that he was over to a degree. I didn't think it was that though. I didn't think it was to that level.
Oh, dude.
And then
when I was there at Stand and Deliver, they were just so hype on Pete Dunne. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I was also, I mean, this was not surprising, but to see like the reaction to Grimes was obviously ridiculous. And that match, I really wanted that match to be and it I don't know, it should have been better than it was for me. It was at times like they put their bodies on the line, and they definitely had some really good spots. But there was just something missing, maybe from the storytelling element, or that I just wasn't connecting with in that particular match, that I felt like this match deserves for me to be liking it a lot more, and I'm not, for some reason, I'm just not getting it. Did you guys feel the same way?
Especially for that belt. I mean, you know, you would think like the storyline around that is just going to hype up wrestling fans, but it was, again, to the point of them being quiet, that there was a point in that match with Cameron Grimes. He said something, I forget if it was money or gold, but like he was about to get out of the ring, and he was like, I want the gold or something like that, and he like yelled it, and like there was no reaction, and the camera hadn't like panned or like done a cut yet, so I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? But and then he walked up the ramp and grabbed
to
like,
get the gold
ladder
with the money symbols on it, which makes sense. But that part of it, like, I was just like, what's happening with the storytelling? Like, no one is into this match.
No, and it felt like a series of really good spots strung together
with no thread.
No thread, it was just missing, and the pacing was a little weird.
Too many ladder spots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a ladder match, but you don't need to use the ladder in every single thing that you do to tell an effective ladder match story.
Yeah, we were texting during this match, me and Duncan, and I was just like, I forget what I said, but I'm like, for some reason I'm not into this, and you, I think, said the same exact thing. It's just like, glad I'm not the only one, you know. Like it did feel like sort of off. Other stuff on the card that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the opener. I thought the opener was good.
Ooh,
I thought the opener was a real good banger. That I mean, it's between that and the main event for match of the night. It goes probably to the main event, but I mean, it was a close second. It wasn't far off, and I think had it been a different show, that probably could have main evented.
Oh, absolutely. I think, dude, I don't know. It's tough because the main event was really good, but that opener, when you like break it down and you're just like, fuck, like it was a really good showcase of kind of everybody. It made everybody look really good. And
the storytelling was good in that as well.
Yeah. So it's tough, like, to pick match of the night for me out of those two.
Yeah.
So that was the one that I only caught the end. I caught like the last 3 minutes because that's when I turned it on.
Okay.
So you're saying I should go back and actually
I would watch that. I would watch that whole
watch
match.
Okay.
I would, if there's any other match that you need to watch from that show, it would be that one. The women's championship match left me real cold. Like I didn't. it was hard to believe that Ember was ever going to win. And that was probably part of why I had trouble getting invested in this.
Yeah.
And I think I was just so impressed with the women's match from earlier in the night.
Oh, Xia Li and Mercedes Martinez.
That it took away from the end sort of, I don't know, it took away from the women's main event, in my opinion, because I don't know, did I just become a Xia Li fan overnight? Because I think I did.
Probably.
I think I did. I was a little stony baloney that evening.
Well, but here's the thing too, is just like Raquel and Ember is something we've seen before.
Yeah.
Like, if we hadn't seen it in so many different incarnations, be it tag team or one-on-one, like, I think that maybe we would have been a little bit more entertained by it. But, like, give me a different challenger.
It was nice. It was cool to have the match itself for the Xia Li match. I thought it was a really good match. I thought the storytelling in it was really cool as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know if I like all the Dragon Master or whatever the hell they call
Tian Sha.
Yeah. I'm not 100% there with that yet, but I can see it going somewhere and I can see it working. I like it as like kind of a faction type deal as well, but that's not why I liked the match. Like, I just thought it made Xia Li like look like $1 million, and it was cool to see. Shit, what the hell? I'm just brain farted. Mercedes Martinez. She's always being portrayed as more of a heel, and in this match, like, it was kind of nice to see that sort of turn. You know, like, she was very much on the babyface side of the way that match was being run. So that match I did enjoy. Overall, yeah. So the two matches I'm down on would be the women's championship match and the Cameron Grimes ladder match.
Which is a shame too, because we were even saying we're just like, oh man, this Cameron Grimes ladder match has such
much
potential.
It had tons of potential, yeah.
And then it shit the bed.
I don't think it did any favors that LA Knight just hasn't clicked yet either. For me.
No.
Like, I get what they're trying to do, and I think that there is potential there. It might be his wrestling. He looks like $1 million. The dude is shredded, but there's just something missing with him.
You could tell the crowd was feeling the exact same way. There wasn't like a huge pop or anything. I mean, like I said earlier, there wasn't even full excitement throughout that match, like from the fan.
I think they just hate former Impact talent.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because
MSK was Impact, LA Knight was Eli Drake.
Right.
Cameron Grimes was more known for PWG than Impact, so
they're going to be more apt to get behind him in that regard.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so weird because I was there, one of the few people cheering on MSK while everybody around me is booing him, and I'm just like, fuck you guys. Like, I mean that with all due respect, but fuck y'all.
And I definitely didn't mind that Cameron Grimes didn't win it either. Like, that wasn't my gripe with the whole thing.
No.
Because I think that there's going to be a really, like, this could build him into even something bigger than when he eventually does take it from LA Knight. And this may be the chance to get LA Knight over by having this run with that belt, with that dynasty, that, like, they can add something to his character now that was maybe missing before, that eventually gets, you know, robbed by Cameron Grimes later down the road.
Right, and hopefully gets LA Knight over instead of just him floundering sort of the way he is.
Yeah, because he's not bad. He's not.
He's not bad, but like the audience really just is like, I'm not into this.
We gotta talk a little bit though too about one of the highlights of In Your House, and it as it
like
was.
How we all have our notebooks.
Yeah. as it was last year when they brought it back.
Oh my God.
Good old Todd.
Oh, fucking Todd. I love Todd.
Yeah.
Dude, him and
his
that
shitty
segment
goatee.
with him and Hit Row.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh,
Him and his shitty goatee. I love it. It's no, he's already said like he'd love to come back and do more stuff, and bring him back as a backstage interviewer. Bring him back and have him pop up on weekly NXT TV. And I don't
hate it.
I don't think anybody would.
The only thing is, I think we'd get sick of it pretty quick. I think if you did it like every week, I think if you were to like pepper it in,
maybe save it for takeovers or the occasional big or
or
stand
then
and
do
deliver
a takeover here and there, and like have them pop up on on weekly TV or something here and there. Like mix it up a bit, like keep it to the big takeovers or something, but like do it so you never know exactly when he's gonna. So when you you're still like, I fucking love this. Right?
It needs to have the nostalgia hit, though.
It
does. That's what it is. I don't think Todd Pettingill works in 2021. Todd Pettingill works in poking fun at the 90s in 2021.
That is fair. Do we know what he does outside of wrestling anymore?
He has a shitty goatee.
I mean, I'm sure he's still working in entertainment.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, yeah. So moving ahead, we
American radio disc jockey is what the first thing that comes up.
I mean, it makes sense. He has got kind of that Casey Kasem type vibe. Yeah, he probably works for a radio station.
I know he did, but he might not really anymore. Matthew's internet's probably better than mine. But yeah, dude, and like him and Dexter Loomis playing the karate or the
game.
Karate champions, dude, the fucking karate fighters. Oh, so good.
So good. We have to talk
He
about
does a subscription-based show.
Okay.
So pay for podcast, I guess.
All right. He does what we do.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what it's looking like. So he's launching an on-demand subscription service and plans to produce 5 shows a week that will include comedy bits, topical talk, and new versions of Pettingill's popular phone scams. That's
All
so
right.
He was last on radio in 2019 in Sacramento.
Okay. All right. So by and large, he's had a pretty good radio career.
Yeah, he's a radio guy.
He's a radio
and he's probably got a bunch of people who are going to pay for that and listen to his shit.
Yeah. Oh God, what's it?
Whoa. You all right there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Did the CBD go down the wrong hole? What the hell just happened?
There's these jewel pens, man. They get me. I don't know what it is about them. Sometimes they get me more than.
Might need to turn the old temperature down on that.
There's no temperature thing on this thing. It's just one. I think. I don't know.
There's probably a way.
There's probably a way. We do have to talk though about the end of this takeover.
Which leads us into what's happening right now.
Yes, trying to segue as best as I can.
You're doing good.
So we had William Regal saying that it was absolutely bedlam tonight on NXT.
No, teary-eyed William Regal. Let's be specific. They went outside and he got that good light so you could see that single man tear rolling down his cheek because he's a man's man.
Because he's a man's man.
Let's not forget.
Yes.
He is a man's man. But yeah, just absolute bedlam. I've never seen such chaos, and
which is funny because that's like every week on NXT. Like,
oh my God,
there's a parking lot brawl
and chaos and bedlam.
Yeah. So that is kind of amusing, but that obviously led to the big rumors, and I think they all stemmed from Samoa Joe, who had just been previously released from WWE. Being seen at the Performance Center, so he says Regal says it's time for maybe a change, and lo and behold, opening segment of NXT tonight, Samoa Joe pops up, and he is deemed by William Regal to be the new head of security. and we have Samoa Joe back on WWE TV, but more importantly, back at NXT, where he was, I mean, utilized the best, obviously,
Absolutely,
in any part of his WWE run.
And I, from what I read, I didn't see that this happened, but I read that it was probably going to happen, and that's what, everything with William Regal meant. But I mean, from the articles that I was reading, it was saying that Triple H, like, as soon as he was able to get him onto NXT, like, got him, like signed the contract and was like, and I think that's interesting. I think that, does that say, like, Triple H doesn't have, like, a lot of say as to what's happening with that? I think that's what we're being told.
I think that's exactly what that says.
Yeah, I think there's something there. Also, it could be, I mean, people have theorized that maybe this is a way to get Joe out of a in-ring type contract and more into a different, like, on-screen personality contract that's
maybe. But he did just choke the shit out of Adam Cole backstage.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I know you haven't seen it, Matthew, but yeah, you can clearly see that, there was already another incident between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole going at it backstage. There's other security guards trying to break him up. Joe comes in, really starts pushing him around, pushing both of them around, getting the situation under control. Adam Cole puts his hands on Samoa Joe.
Shoves Samoa Joe. That was hard.
The look on his face, though, like you said, Duncan, like,
oh my God, it was the best too. He just looks down at himself and he goes,
takes off his jacket.
He takes off his jacket and just goes and snatches him up in the coquina clutch. And Adam Cole went night quick,
like 5 seconds,
like fast.
Yeah. But if that's any indication, that means that there's a possibility that Joe might get back in the ring. And with the opening segment that happened earlier, I failed to mention that there was a huge stare down between himself and Karrion Kross.
Yep.
And he's not.
And Joe said, "Tick tock, young champion."
Tick tock, young champion. So that's pretty cool. The prospect, those two would have a banger.
Without question.
Was Kross around in the time that Joe was around in Impact or TNA, or would that have?
No, I don't think
so. So I don't think they probably ever.
I don't think they've worked together.
No, I don't think they've worked together either. So that's interesting. That's
oh no.
Yeah,
there it is.
I think we could have Joe as NXT champion again, and people wouldn't be too mad about it.
I don't think anybody would be mad about that.
No, I think you could.
To be entirely honest, I don't think any NXT fans would be mad about that.
No.
And you know what? I think also just let him have it. Like, even if it's just one more, like, after all the shit going up to the main roster, I mean, the injuries didn't help, but then going to commentary, doing such a good job on that, standing in the fucking rain.
In that poncho.
In that poncho, and then getting let go. Like, let him have a little run.
Yeah, Samoa Poncho deserves it better.
Yeah.
Does indeed.
And he could have some banger matches with people on that roster.
Dude, there's so many.
It's.
Give me Joe versus Thatcher or Ciampa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to see just violence,
that'll work.
Like, Joe versus either of those two would be just like, that. Kross, obviously. Gargano. Those two would have a clinic.
Yeah.
To anybody who was just in that Fatal 5-Way.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
pretty
right.
Much, yep.
Another thing that's happened, and it, we obviously had to start the show, but right before we went on air, I caught there was a small vignette that ran, and it's obviously going to be debuting someone, who knows who, but very sort of confusing, but it popped up with an image of a battery. And it was like on your cell phone, like when you plug in, like your phone's dead, and it's like that your image of like your phone's at
The empty battery?
1%, like a charging battery.
Yep.
And it was at 1%. One would assume when it gets to 100% that person debuts, and that's how this will roll. But 1%, what does that make you think of? Would they really try a third run with EC3?
EC3 get over like Rover in NXT.
Yeah.
He was already over in NXT.
Yeah. You could bring him back to NXT.
But no, I don't. Bunch of his friends are there.
With this Joe development, with some of the stuff that we've heard about some of the releases, and WWE wanting to bring some of these people back, NXT's the right place for if that is, something they want to do with bringing back EC3.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's also going to probably bring like the Joe, obviously, and I think if you were to do something with EC3 and a couple of, we would have to go through the list and figure out, the people who've been released. But I think if you do that, you bring even some more eyes back to the product, especially with it having been moved to Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to have those people who don't like it because it's not or they don't like AEW, so they love NXT, and then the AEW
Vice
don't want to watch it. But I also think there is a lot of crossover, and fans like us who like wrestling and like watching both. Sure,
absolutely.
Like, I have my favorite, but I still like watching. I still watch them,
Yep,
sure.
And NXT is great, but I think that might bring some more views maybe to them, and maybe a little bit more kind of crossover and retainage, as opposed to also letting a lot of those people. You can't overstack your roster on, AEW or Impact or anything like that. But I think that, you could, I don't know. I think it could bring some people back without pushing all of that. And I think that's a smart thing. And I think they will be better utilized in NXT, and Triple H knows how to utilize them and will make it better for the people there and the people he's bringing back.
I just kind of hope that Aleister Black doesn't fall into this trap, because I'm so excited to see him possibly be in AEW.
Oh man, and you're already reading the rumors just like I am about, they're already trying to bring him back.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's the one I hope doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They fucked with him so hard, and it would be, I don't know, it would almost like, I'd lose a little respect for him in a weird way. Like, not really, because you gotta make ends meet, and I don't want anybody to, not have a job or anything like that. And if the contract is right, more power to you. But I think he's better fitted to go elsewhere, and I don't know. I feel like it's a little different than Joe, even though they didn't utilize Joe particularly well on the main roster. They had something for him at most of the time. With Black, It was just an afterthought, and that's kind of where I hope that. We all know he could be a main event star in AEW. We know this to be a fact.
Yeah. The big one that I'm wondering about is the rumors are that Moose is going to be going to NXT.
Really? I haven't heard that.
Oh, dude, those rumors have been going around for a while. He's working without a contract right now.
On Impact.
Ooh. And he's even teased both AEW and NXT. So it'll be very interesting to me to see what ends up happening.
I don't mind Moose in NXT somehow.
No, I think Moose in NXT works.
Yeah. He would be a great challenger for Cross right now, if nothing else.
So there's this group of dudes that all get together and lift weights in a shitty garage, and it's Moose, Ciampa, Drake Maverick, EC3.
Which one of these things is not like the other?
Yeah, and it's got to be a shitty garage too, right?
It is a shitty.
They have the best fucking weights money, but it's like it's got to be a shitty garage.
Yeah, 100%.
And it has to have no AC, so you can sweat a lot and
the ventilation is the door is open and it's outside.
It's an Orlando, Florida garage.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's suburban.
So
suburban
and they
Orlando.
get together and they work out almost every day.
No
kidding.
Does Moose live here?
Yep.
I did not know that either.
Yep.
I must have stayed around probably from the days that the TNA days when
I'm
they were
sure
here.
he bought a house down here when he was when they were full time there, and just like, why would he leave? It's not that far to Nashville.
No, and with the way they do their TV tapings and they do them in huge blocks, it's like fly up there for a week or something and then come back home. Like
exactly.
Yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. But interesting. I would almost rather see Moose in NXT than AEW.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
think so. I think he gives him a fresher start.
It would work better, I think. Yeah.
I think so. And he would be a main roster draw. Like there's a million built-in things that he could do on the main roster.
He is
just
incredible.
look at him. Just look at him too.
Yeah,
and he is athletic as fuck.
Yes, he is. That apparently happened, right? They've already taped. Or has it aired? I know it's taped.
The Kenny match?
Yeah, no, that happened.
It aired.
Yeah, that
happened.
Yeah, so obviously Kenny retained, help with the Young Bucks, all that type of stuff.
Right.
And that was kind of neat to see.
But then Sami Callihan came out.
Callihan came out to, I guess, challenge Kenny for the Impact title.
He won a match earlier in the night to become the number one contender for whoever won that match.
Which, from what I've heard, is a little bit weird because that was shot in Tennessee, in Nashville, at the empty Impact Zone or whatever. And then he shows up at the Daily Place, show like later.
Yeah, but
later
if he's speed,
right? Yeah. It's
Tony Khan's got a private plane.
There you go. He could do that. Yeah. He flew him in.
I mean, there's a way to, like, honestly, you can get to Jacksonville from Nashville in like the 2.5 hours that it was, because it was the opening match of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So if it's a 3-hour pay-per-view, it's a 2.5-hour drive to Jacksonville from Tennessee or from Nashville.
Longer than that, really.
I don't think so.
But whatever. Spend this.
That's probably
I
a
don't
lot
care.
longer than that, actually. No, it's probably like 4 hours.
That's what I was thinking. It'd be like a 4.5, something in that range.
So, but if you like, there's a way to put. I don't think they even need to mention it because it's wrestling.
They don't.
Like, who gives a shit?
And I'm fine with it. It just found it funny. But yeah, like with Kenny, there's a few reports that are a little concerning with Kenny right now.
Yeah.
Coming from him himself.
Yeah, saying he's waking up, like, thinking about retirement because he hurt so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's talking about a multitude of ailments. I know there's something with his back that is becoming a problem. His knees have, I think, long been a bit of a problem. And,
right.
And with the style he wrestles, obviously, knees are going to take quite a lot of punishment.
Oh my God, dude. The things that he does, and I'm just like, you didn't make my knees go fuck.
And I guess he's battling like a stomach virus or
a hernia. He's got a
hernia. Okay, shit. Maybe it's one of those where he takes a year off or something, comes back.
I think. I mean, he's gonna keep doing this run. They're gonna utilize him. I think just for the big matches, especially from what I was reading, it's like he's not gonna be on TV every week, like week wrestling. Like he'll be popping up and like helping try and build those storylines because it's harder to do that. He has to keep showing up, obviously, because it's harder to do that if he can't take a pin by someone in a tag match in a ring, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
especially with the current gimmick that he has too.
Yeah.
What shitty timing for this to start rearing its ugly head. Like that's the.
Yeah, I just hope he does. I feel like he's the type who will just be like, okay, I will give it my all in these bigger matches to finish this story. And I don't know if they speed up the story
maybe
a little bit or something, but I think he's gonna have a couple of more bangers like where maybe we're gonna be able to tell a little bit more, and then I think finish this story, and then he will go away for a bit and take a break.
It's also not beyond, in my mind, the possibility that it's all a complete work as well.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
I wouldn't put it past them, to do something like this, especially with the current gimmick. I think for the most part, when it comes
to I'm gonna keep the belt and just retire.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna. Like no one deserves to fucking take a chance, like a shot at me. Like no one deserves it. So like, I'm just gonna retire. I'm feeling worn down. I've got this stuff going on. I wake up thinking retirement, and you know what? No one's gonna take these belts from me anyway. So I'm just gonna, vacate and go home. And that way, no one can beat him.
No, I don't. I actually don't even hate that really. Like
no, because who else? Like, who else is you're gonna have like 4 different. Like 3 different main event competitors built on each roster that he's got titles from, and have them all like, you could have Bandito take the AAA title from him. You could have I don't know, somebody take the
Callahan on Impact.
Yeah,
like that works.
And then Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
No way, it's Jungle. Not yet. I still think they're doing the Hangman thing. I still think they're going that route. Or, I mean, there's...
Who's more over right now?
Probably Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy by a mile.
I don't know by a mile.
I think because it's been so long and Hangman's been so cold, Jungle Boy is way hotter right now.
You think time is like, maybe they should have bit the
Pulled
bullet
the trigger on
yeah. That maybe
well, because the whole like redemption arc story is only being told on BTE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it like, as somebody who doesn't watch BTE, when I see what's happening on Dynamite, I'm just like, why should I give a shit about Hangman?
Right.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, but I think that the fans are still really behind him. I mean, we saw it Double or Nothing. Like
they are.
Opening match, I mean, it was a huge pop. Not saying Jungle Boy didn't get it either, obviously, but I mean, I think it's still there for Hangman. If they were to bring kind of that storytelling to Dynamite, like I think that they would be able to catch everyone's attention again and bring it back and actually pull it off.
There's also some reports right now that Kenny and Roman Reigns are both set for big baby face roles, like big turns into becoming baby faces. I have mixed emotions about this. Wanted you guys' opinion. I can see it a little more with Kenny than I can with Reigns. And I can see it with Kenny, especially right now, too, if they were to turn him more face, that it would work a lot better than for, say, an Andrade to possibly challenge and take the AEW championship from Kenny. Like, that makes it more realistic in my mind that could possibly happen. That aside, I think it would be a very, very bad idea for WWE right now to turn Reigns face.
I don't think anybody's talking about it being a quick turn. That's long term.
It's goals. A long, like next year type thing.
That's the long term goals. So I think they're looking at by next year. Like next summer, a year from now.
After this Reigns run, do you think it's possible now that if he were like he could turn face and fans would actually cheer him?
I think the route that he's on right now, he's going to end up being so popular that they're not going to have a chance to do anything but turn him.
Yeah.
It's going to be sort of like Austin was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I think it's inevitable just because of how good he is in this character that, yeah, we all hate him.
He doesn't have to be a nice guy again. No. Like he can still be like an ass kicker. Like you're thinking about Austin, thinking about a rule breaker, thinking about ANC authority. Like he can still kind of play that role whilst being a face, I suppose, whilst making that transition.
Well, I mean, you think about how The Rock was such a heel, but eventually, like, it just
it's undeniable,
became,
right?
yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same way with Reigns. Like, this is the success that they've wanted from him from the beginning. Just take him a couple more years to get there.
Did I see correctly that there is an announcement that they have announced The Rock for SummerSlam?
No.
I feel like I saw something that
No, it's probably one of your.
it was
Reddit
probably a
fantasy
fan. It was probably a fan poster or some dumb
Yeah,
shit like
there
that.
hasn't been anything that I have seen at all day.
Maybe you're probably right.
Hold on.
There-
Survivor Series?
Survivor Series, that's what it was. And it wasn't necessarily like he's coming back to wrestle, but it was like 25 years of The Rock.
He's
And
going to return to confront Roman Reigns at Survivor Series.
I mean, it would be the logical thing.
It would, but Survivor Series, like, you don't waste that match before Mania.
No, I don't think they have the match. I think The Rock just shows up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Okay, so Meltzer says the hope is for Dwayne Johnson to make an appearance at the show, but that isn't locked in. The hope is for around that time, if he's involved, make it a huge show and blah blah. Oh, and so maybe you would then build to Reigns versus hoping. Yeah.
Sorry, you broke up there. What was that last little bit? Fucking internet.
We're saying we were hoping for. That's what they're hoping for.
They're
Gotcha.
hoping for Rock.
But that would be the perfect time for them to kind of build that. Like, I mean, you think if you do.
Fuck.
If they do it, I think it would be just a little bit until he would kind of follow up. The only other way to do it would be, I mean, imagine if he like entered into the Royal Rumble, fucking won it and had his title.
Oh gosh.
People would go nuts if he was entering the Rumble. Like just the last one, even like
They forgot. I mean, people forget that The Rock is like he's the one that ran CM Punk out of the fucking WWE.
Jiggle your wire, Duncan. It sounds. I think it.
Well, your internet is the one that's been shit now. So.
Yeah, no, my internet has definitely been an issue, but I'm also hearing microphone interference.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing a microphone interference too.
I think it's good now though. Seems better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
Huh?
It's like only popping up when you're talking, Duncan, but no big deal.
Well, good. It's just gonna have to take precedence over everything.
Other interesting news regarding Andrade is that you see that Federación.
Everybody pulled out of that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rush him. Yeah.
Is that because Del Rio was on it or El Patron?
I'm gonna think that probably has something to do with it.
Yes. I mean, that was my initial reaction. I was like, I could see Tony Khan after signing Andrade being like, yeah, you don't work that
You're like,
show.
about that, you're not working that show.
No one's working that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, apart from that, weren't Penta and Phoenix involved as well? I wonder.
They're still on it, as far as I know.
Oh, really? Well, interesting. Maybe that's all part of it. Maybe that could play a role. But apart from the Alberto Patron, whatever the fuck he's called now, apart from that, it seemed like it had a lot of potential, and there could be some cool things that they did with that promotion.
Yeah.
I mean, the show itself actually, it kind of had some promise. So that's interesting. Edge apparently set for a match at SummerSlam this year. That's what they're talking about. Yeah. And Do you do the Roman rematch? I mean, is that what you do?
Yeah, and you have Roman beat him.
Yeah. I mean, I can't, unless it's like Daniel Bryan making a return to face Edge.
Which it won't be.
Which I don't feel like it is.
I don't feel like it is either. Like, I feel like Daniel Bryan needs to be gone for a while.
Yeah.
And maybe come back at Rumble. Rumble's a great time. It's a long time for him to be gone.
And he's never won the Rumble.
Okay with
that whole thing where he's never won the Rumble. He could come back, have his last. Yeah. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. But yeah, apart from it being just Roman again, I don't understand like what you do with Edge. Like I'm kind of lost with Edge as a whole at the moment.
I don't think Edge needs, like...
What if we had, and hear me out, the best, greatest, most extravagant, athletic, entertaining,
super awesome, epic
wrestling match of ever.
I mean,
since time.
Since time.
Well, and it's him and Randy again, right? Like,
obviously.
Obviously. It's the only way to do it. Yeah.
And they actually just sit in the ring and jerk each other off.
That match was good.
The second match was good.
The second match was good. The second
match was good. I'll give them that.
Yeah, the first one was terrible.
But I really don't know what you do with him.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
my problem.
There's like think about it. I can't see him doing anything exciting with anyone.
And why should I care about Edge now? Like, we've already gone down the road of him trying to get the belt, and he didn't get the belt. So if I can have him go after Roman one more time, we don't care. And then, like, okay, so who is gonna be the big name that Roman faces at SummerSlam or at Survivor Series then? And then who's he gonna face at Rumble? And then leading to the Rocket Mania.
These are all very good questions. You say that about Edge, and we don't obviously care, but I think they took a look at that pop that he got at Mania, and he clearly is a draw.
Yeah, I mean, we'd pop for the music too,
right?
So, and dude, and I love Edge, but it's just like, what do you do?
What do you do with him? Exactly. It's a rough one.
He's not the Christian Cage of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was thinking. I was like, that was a long...
I don't know. It was a very pensive look. But...
Yeah, it looked like you were just thinking and not frozen.
It was not. I was indeed frozen. You said he's not the Christian Cage.
He's not the Christian Cage of WWE.
No, he's not.
He's not gonna he's not gonna put over a new talent in a battle royal like Jungle Boy, and you know what I mean. Like, that's not how Edge is. Edge has a bit
too much of an ego, I'm assuming, and on top of that, then he's also we're frozen again. Fuck. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream for a little bit here. Where I'm gonna stop and do some reboots and stuff, because otherwise it's just gonna drive us nuts, and we'll...
Fair enough.
Yeah. We'll stop for a little bit, and I'll do some rebooting, and then hopefully we can come back and just get through predictions, and I'll hope, figure it out from there.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
All right.
Dude, don't worry about it. You're not the Spectrum man. You blame Ty for